Welcome back to Retiring Today. This is part 2 in our series, Retiring Through the Decades. Today we're focusing on what to do in your 60s. Lauren, we've got John and Sue. John and Sue are in their 60s and they're thinking about making that Social Security decision. And it's not real clear-cut what to do. There's a lot of options.
I don't know how it could be clear-cut because there are a lot of options. In fact, up to 81 different options that John and Sue have. And as they try to investigate what is the best option for them to select from, they get bombarded with all of this different noise, whether it's this article over here, this article over here, this family member, this coworker, everybody's telling them something different. They should take it at 62 right away because they don't know how long they're going to live. Social Security is going broke. Well, but wait a minute. No, you should wait as long as you possibly can because you're going to live forever and you need to maximize that payment. So they hear all this stuff, which just makes this decision even that much more hard.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the middle of 62 and 70 is your full retirement age, and some people see that number and say, that's exactly when I have to take this benefit. But we know that the best way for some people to learn is just looking at an example, looking at the numbers and seeing how the scenarios can play out. So we've got some really neat graphics here, really neat part of the story for John and Sue.
Yeah, we sure do. We had this a couple different options that we're going to walk you through for John and Sue, and we're going to do it on the board. I'm going to walk over here to the John and Sue Social Security board, and we're going to walk you through a handful of options that John and Sue have. Now, it's important to understand you can't walk through all of these different options manually. So we use technology to narrow down all the different options that John and Sue have to a handful. Molly, a handful of manageable options that they have that now they can sort from, and then we can put those options into their retirement plan to help them identify this is the best option for John and Sue. So let's walk through this and we'll see if, Molly, if you have any questions for us.
Okay, I'm listening.
All right, here we go. So John and Sue, they're going to retire at 65 and 64 in this first example. And when they retire, they're going to take their Social Security benefits right away. So they retire at 65, John's 65, Sue's 64. They're going to take their benefit. John is going to receive about $2,400 a month for his benefit. Sue's going to receive about $1,100 a month for her benefit. Now, if you add those monthly benefits up over the course of their expected lifetime, then the total lifetime benefit for John and Sue is going to add up to be a little bit over $900,000. Okay, so if John and Sue are looking at this prior to making their decision, their retirement decision, their Social Security decision, they can take this information and they can say, yes, that looks like it works okay from a monthly standpoint. It certainly adds up to a ton of money from a lifetime standpoint. This is the first part of them investigating. Does this option make sense for them? Is it a viable option? But John and Sue, they want to see what other options they have with their benefit as well. So we're going to keep digging. We're going to keep going. So another option they have is what if, and we get this question a lot. People come to us all the time and they say, what if I work one more year? Or what if I work 2 more years? What's it do to my Social Security payment? Through technology, we can identify that prior to them actually making those permanent decisions. So in this scenario, John works all the way up until 69. Sue works until she is age 67. They both take their benefits at 69 and 67. So John's monthly payment, monthly income is going to be about $3,400 a month. Sue is going to increase her payment up to $1,200 a month. Again, if we add up the monthly payments through the course of their entire lifetime, now their lifetime total is going to be over $1 million. So they're looking at these two different options. They say, what if we take it earlier, retire and take it earlier? What if we work a little bit longer, take it a little bit longer? Then the difference between the $1 million and the earlier benefit, that's part of their equation. They're going to weigh that out. But again, they have more options. So let's take a look at another option that they have. In this scenario, scenario number 3, we're going to go back to John and Sue retiring at the original retirement date, 65 and 64. Except for John's not going to take his Social Security payment right away when he retires. And this is an important distinction because your retirement date, when you actually stop working, and when you take your Social Security payment can be 2 distinct things. They don't have to happen simultaneously. And that's what John's going to do in this scenario. Sue is going to take her payment right away when she retires still. But John's going to wait all the way till 70 because he knows he gets that 8% guaranteed increase on his monthly benefit from full retirement age all the way up to 70. That's 8% guarantee a month, or 8% guarantee a year. So instead of taking it right away at retirement age of 65, he waits, and his payment is $3,600 a month. Sue's payment is, by herself, a little bit over $1,000 a month. So in this case, Sue took hers at 65, John waited, and at 70, when he turned his benefit on, this makes Sue eligible for an additional amount, which is her spousal benefit. So she is eligible for an additional amount, and now her total payment increases to almost $1,150 a month. So again, if we combine their monthly income amounts, their monthly payments over the course of their expected lifetime, if we total it all up, it's valued at just under $1 million. So I find this extremely interesting. By the way, so does John and Sue, because what they have always heard is if they delay, which in this case John did all the way till the maximum age of 70, then that is the best scenario. But if we add up their monthly payments over the course of their lifetime, what we can see is option one, scenario one, produced about $915,000. Scenario two produced the most, which is over $1 million. And then scenario three produces just under $1 million. So scenario three, Molly, is where John waited all the way till age 70 to take his benefit. And it produced not the highest amount. It didn't get over that $1 million. When in scenario two, when John took his at 69 and Sue took hers at 67, that actually produced the biggest lifetime benefit.
Yeah, about $20,000 more, right?
Right. So the question for John and Sue is, does it make sense for them to take their benefit a little bit earlier? John, in this case, taking it a full year earlier, receive potentially a higher lifetime maximum, or does it work better within their overall situation based on what they're trying to do from a tax planning standpoint, from a lifestyle standpoint, what their life health is, what their health is, all that's going to influence it. So what this does is it gives you information as far as if you select this option, here's the benefit you're going to receive. If you select this option, here's the benefit you're going to receive. And now you have this information at your fingertips so you can make those decisions with confidence and know that 5 years down the road, you're not going to think back and say, wow, I wish I would have made this decision. Or I didn't realize I had all of these options and here's the impact it's going to have on your retirement short-term and long-term.
Is there ever a time when it makes sense to continue working but elect Social Security?
Yes, most definitely it can. And we have a number of families that are still working and taking their Social Security. Because one of the hardest parts about retirement planning, Social Security planning, any of this type of planning is when's your last day? When is your last day going to be? Nobody knows. So the longer you delay, you are risking that you are going to pass away sooner than later. Because if you knew you were going to pass away sooner than later, you're going to want to take your Social Security payments sooner than later. Once you obtain full retirement age, you can make as much money as you want to. You can make $10 million a year and still take your Social Security payment and not be penalized. If you take your Social Security payment prior to your full retirement age, that's where that earned income limit comes into play, where you could be penalized based on how much money you make.
And these lifetime expected numbers we're looking at, are they taking them out to what the expected life expectancy is right now for a male and female, like 86, 87, somewhere in there?
Yeah, what we're using from a life expectancy standpoint with John and Sue in this example is John passes away at age 87 and Sue passes away just under age 85.
Okay, great job. I understood all of it, and that just shows the power of planning and what to think about.
Yeah, most definitely. What this does is it gives John and Sue information. It gives them information prior to making these permanent decisions, so they feel much better, much more confident about making these decisions, knowing they're making the best decision for them based on real information that is theirs and not based on water cooler information or what their family members said they should do. It's their information, it's their decision. Thank you for watching this clip of Retiring Today, and don't forget to subscribe. If you have questions about your retirement plan, take advantage of the complimentary 15-minute retirement checkup phone call.